So it is good day to you, huh? So very good to see your light, your brightness, your divine energy and the luscious energy of the star mothers through Dr. Amber and the activation as your guidance brought you here for this activation. Your guidance tapped you on the energy field and said, in Sacramento, you get to come and be activated on all levels of your cellular connection. So we give thanks for Dr. Amber and her artwork that she found the right artist to bring forth that energy. You know, dearest beings of light, you have that capability as well. You are writing your autobiography, of course, and to know that in that energy, you are creating your reality. You are creating the way you are responding to everything that happens in your life. So when you set the intention to be all that you are, when you set the intention to grow, to evolve, to move forward, to activate, to become the energy, you volunteered to be here at this point in time, yes? Just as our dear Kryon volunteered to come in, just as we volunteered to come in through this little vessel, Maryland, to come in at this point in time, because it is a magnanimous energy. It is bigger than expected, possibly. And the old statement that the universe is rearranging itself to accommodate your picture of reality, yes? Old statement, the vessel Maryland saw it on somebody's wall in the 90s, we think. However, now that is what is happening. And science is proving it. So when you say, I wish to be all that I am, I wish to evolve, and then things start rearranging themselves and something mucky comes along and something in contrast comes along and something else comes along and pushes all your buttons and you think, what happened to the good stuff? You see, you're given those opportunities to say, that is that old paradigm, and I'm given the choice to make a different choice. I'm given the choice to see what the issue is, to see what the trigger point is, to maybe see the messenger of that button-pushing, mucky, icky stuff, contrast, and to love it. And say to ourselves, say to yourself, this has come round about again. Yay. Celebrate that. What shall I do with it? You know, you have a choice every single day to surround yourself with your people, your tribe, as you are here this weekend. You also have a choice to surround yourself with people of higher vibration when you leave here. Many times people don't think they have a choice, but they do. Our vessel Marilyn had dinner last night with her brother Bob. And he started off not having a clue what she was talking about. He actually attended one of her events in Sacramento, right here. You were there. And he had never seen channeling. He had never heard of us, Aronda, or the fact that her energy, her face, her focus shifts completely. And yet she did not justify. She explained only as much as what he could take. instead of going through and trying to convince him of something, she just said, just come. It opened something within him. Now he's listened to Kryon. Yes, yes. He's actually shared that message with his wife. She hasn't listened yet, but it's only a matter of dripping. And that is what you are. With those energies that are around you, that are maybe not really the same vibration of you, instead of pushing them aside and saying, no, get out of my energy field, maybe it is time for you to be the drip line. You know, you have a drum line, yes? That can hit you over the head with something. Instead, be the drip line. You know how when that faucet in the other room just drips a little bit, and it seems like it is so loud, eventually it gets our attention. You can be the drip line for the universal shift. Take a deep breath. There are many beings who have come into this dimension to pave the way for what is happening right here, right now on this planet. There are thousands and thousands of years of beings in human form. They are now the ascended masters that are on our council, as you are. Those masters that have come here to this planet at this time to prove that the veils are getting thinner, to consciously live the miraculous energy, making miracles ordinary. And that is what is happening. 2 weeks ago, our vessel Marilyn was in Alaska. She drove a dog sled. That was a miracle. And then the miracle got greater and she drove a snowmobile. Now she's ready to purchase what are those things that go on the water that's like a snowmobile? Jet ski, yes. Can't you see her? You see, that is really all that it takes. Can't you see her? And you can, yes? Yes. So therefore it comes to pass. Can you feel her joy as she stood on the back of a snowmobile and had snow flying everywhere, and her glasses were all fogged up and her body was a little bit freezing, and it was only 34 below zero. And she looked up and thought, this is so fun. I never thought I could do something like this, but I could see it. So her problem was she was thinking about it. But when she felt it, then she could see it. So we ask you, start feeling into the miraculous transformation of this planet. Start feeling into that energy of shift that you feel right now in your body, and see how it can reverberate out beyond you and affect your brother or your sister or your neighbor with that illuminated joy. And then they may come to you one day and take you out to dinner and say, I don't know what you do and I don't know what that channel thing is, but it is real. I know this. I feel it. And I want more of it. Because the human soul is designed to live in joy. It is your birthright. Somewhere along the line you got a different program. That is that first paragraph in your autobiography. Now, take a deep breath. joy is yours as your birthright. Humanity is shifting its consciousness again. Because you are here. You volunteered. So as you celebrate every single little point that pushes against you, there's 10 more points that come in that are helping you flow in that divine direction of evolution. That is exciting. We feel it. Huh, don't you? Yes, thank you. Someone answered. She feels it. You see it. Yes. See that place on this planet where everyone respects their differences and honors and has compassion with those energies that have a different protocol or ritual or religion or purpose than you do. And know that they are the star in your movie, just like you are the star in their movie, in their autobiography. But what is it called? An autobiographical movie, huh? That is the shift. You are the shift. We love you deeply for volunteering so we could look into your eyeballs. We see your heart. We know you. And we honor you. And we bid you namaste.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. There are those who would continue to say, why is Kryon here? There has to be a reason. There is. The reason is because Spirit, that which is you call the Creator, that which is responsible for your soul, loves you dearly. And so there are messengers that have been sent for eons at times of change on this planet. Especially in times where humanity was involved and needed to know what was going to happen, or perhaps have an alert so that they would not be shocked or surprised or worried. Scripture is filled with this, angels who appear. And in that which they appear, they always say to the humans, don't fear me. Don't fear the message, for I'm here with good news. This epitomizes the love that God has for you, for the souls that you exist in. Apart from anything you've been taught or told, there is grand, grand love for you. Beautiful love. You have elected by choice to be born in a time of change. And this is massive change. It's change on all scales of almost every subject that you can think of. The indigenous will tell you very clearly about the cycles of life, about the cycles of earth, about the cycles of time, about the cycles of consciousness. They are aware and have always been aware that things happen in cycles. But when those cycles are done and others then begin, there is change. And the change is almost always upsetting to a human being. Depending upon how you see your life is how humans view change. There are some who will see change and say, well, it's about time. I love those things which are happening because it means I have an opportunity here to change things that need changing in my life, and on they go. But that's only a few, really. Mostly those are old souls who have come prepared for the change. But there are many old souls who say they've come prepared for the change, but they are a product of programming. And the programming says that change means trouble. The ones that especially are affected are the ones that see change and pull it to themselves. They'll see something that has happened and they'll say, then why is it happening? I must have done something wrong. Even those who see that which is the weather cycle which we have talked about now for decades. The change is upon you. We said it was coming, now it's here. So you had forewarning of a cycle. There are cycles within cycles, mini cycles. When it comes to Gaia, the weather, and all these things, you knew it was coming. And that there are those who are assembling and praying to God, asking God, saying, what have we done wrong to create such a thing? Never understanding that such a thing is normal. Change is upon this planet in so many ways. The energy of the consciousness around you is starting to change. We have spoken, again, about the weather. It's so interesting now how even historians are starting to change their minds on some of the mysteries of the past. One of them, not really that far away from here, in what you call Bandelier National Monument, there's a place called Chaco Canyon. And in that place, for 400 years, lived an ancient people, which are called the Anasazi ancient people. And when you go there, there has always been a mystery. That for 400 years, they lived a certain way, in an area that had actually been occupied by them for perhaps 10,000 years, and yet suddenly they left. They didn't simply pack up and go. They didn't even pack up. There's many, many stories, even about some of the kivas still being filled, about something that happened that almost overnight would cause them to leave. A big mystery. There have been all manner of conjecture of what that would be, and now I tell you what historians are starting to figure out. There were signs of massive drought. The water was going away. The streams were going away. There was no rain for 3 years. Dear ones, this was a cycle change in weather. They had not seen it before. Like you have not seen it before. In their civilization of the 400 years, they had never seen this. Perhaps it was a 1,500-year cycle. They would never have known. And the reason they left, they had to. They can't even carry food if they don't have the strength of having to hydrate themselves. And so there was that which the chief, if you want to call it that, the one in charge, the shamans all said, it's over, we're leaving. And they did. A classic story of a cycle that surprised them. A cycle that they really should have known was coming, but didn't believe it, even though the seers and the readers had told them that it was in the field. One of the reasons it was so sudden is because of the stubbornness of their government, if you even want to call it that, of their council, who said, we do not believe this is coming. For 400 years, we've never had this. Therefore, it won't be there. This is the same with the energy shift, even for those who are esoterically minded right now. The energy is shifting in the way people react, in the way you think, what you do. And the energy, even of thought, is starting to change for you. Healers feel it. We have spoken of it. New things are occurring that will change the way you do wonderful things. When I said healers feel it, we have spoken of this before. When many of the old processes that worked forever don't work. And the healer takes it to themselves and say, what am I doing wrong? They'll even think they're being punished because that's the programming of the day. When you have a program that says you don't belong here and that you're born dirty, that means that everything you do is being judged. Therefore, if something goes wrong, you caused it. That's programming, and that is not the truth. Why is Kryon here? To tell you in your magnificence to relax with these changes that are occurring, but be aware of what they are, because some of you are building walls. Wall building seems to be a pastime, and you don't even know it. You don't realize the amazing changes of what you do that create certain kinds of things that never did before. Psychologists will tell you that if something happens or you're worried, or it's a life worry, let's say, or there's something ongoing all the time, or perhaps it's fresh, that something has happened, that when you carry these wounds or these worries, and if you will simply talk them out and talk to others and talk to this, that eventually you'll talk them away. Or perhaps others will help you and justify and whatever. That is the psychology of the day. You get help. Now I'm here to tell you something. Whatever it is that bothers you right now, that you have carried for more than a month or two, as long as you verbalize it, you're building a wall brick by brick that's going to keep you right there. Because that is the energy of consciousness. The more you discuss a negative thing, such as worry, consternation, wringing your hands, or being wounded because of unjust things that happened, and you want to tell everybody you know every time you meet them. Hi, my name is. Did you know what happened to me? You're building a wall, and that wall gets then cemented, and then the cement dries, and you're never going to get through it. And the things you're worried about, you'll always be worried about. The energy is new. And so what it says is to take those things and imagine that instead of perpetuating them to everyone you know in hopes that you will be able to dissipate them, as many say you can, I want you to ask an indigenous what they did. Master psychologists, they were. They had ceremony for worry. And whatever it was you were worried, you might want to wrap it in a leaf or something that was Gaia and then burn it. Somehow dispose of it, because the energy was this. Gaia, as your helper, had the wisdom of the ancestors and would see these things eliminated, going up in smoke. You had released them, and you're on to other things. Now, the things you worry about may still be in the ethers, in the field, but the fact you're not building a wall anymore means you zip through it. You see this? And you step ahead. I want you to examine your lives for a minute. How many of you are here, and for years you've been worried about the same thing? Your wall is big. It's not too big, dear ones, because consciousness is energy and can blast through that so easy, as long as you understand, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. The biggest issue that you might have, again, as a habit, is how do I drop the worry? I'll tell you, this is where the maturity starts to come in from everything you've learned, where you can rest yourself in the hands of Spirit and know you're taken care of. And you don't have to do this yourself. And you don't have to share things that bother you on and on to everyone you meet. You can dissolve these things and actually get resolution if you stop talking about them. That is a new energy. And that is the way it's starting to work, dear ones. That's a challenge to some. That's why I'm here. Spirit loves you so much that it wants to tell you the pitfalls of habits, programming, so you'll know what they are. Many of them subconscious. Nothing wrong with you, you've done this. This is the way you were trained by you, your parents, your culture. This is the way it worked. But it doesn't now. Let those who look at you see joy, not problems. When you talk to them, talk about them about joy, not problems. This is the new energy. This is the change. This is the cycle before you. One of many cycles, just one of many, but one you needed to hear. I'll be back. And so it is.